PSBeats.com.
One, two, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? We here in the place to be. If you want to come, join in, please share and listen and like, man. At the end of the day, I don't know. I was riding home and I was thinking, I said, you know what? I got to talk about this tonight because I thought about each one of these situations with you got your Bad Boy, you got your Death Row, you got your Rockefeller. And these was three of the biggest entertainment companies, black-owned entertainment companies that we've seen, and they were all kind of special to me because I grew up in the era where they started, you know, and seeing where everything is at right now, how nobody gets along, you know what I mean, how mainly these companies are disbanded. You got your Bad Boy Entertainment. Bad Boy no longer really exists, no longer as we know it. We got Death Row Records. Death Row doesn't exist how we used to know it. I mean, Snoop has it. Rockefeller Records. These is all powerful men that we see right here. We have two major figures dead, which we have Big. We have Tupac. On the far right, we have Dame and Jay that don't see the eye to eye. They can't do business together no more. Puff don't do business with Mace. Don't do with Loon. Don't do business with Junior Mafia. I mean, he can't do nothing no more basically at this section. We got Death Row where, you know, Suge don't talk to Dre. Dre don't talk to Suge. Snoop don't mess with and you know, I just started to think about, like, you know, the microcosm of thinking about it in a way that not even just thinking about it on the level that they on, because the level that they on is, you know, multi-million-dollar level, and really as a combined $1 billion, you know what I mean, billionaire status. Just think if these companies could have stayed together, if they could have stayed together, worked it out, and began to grow. And it made me think while I was driving home, I'm like, yo, how did this happen? How did this happen? How did this happen? What we seeing right now, how did this happen to each one of these groups? These powerful men, these powerful groups right here. How did this happen? You know, you got Suge in jail, 28 years. I don't know what, he done did 8, 9 by now, 7 or 8. Still got 20 to go. Puff look like he's about to get his 20 piece, 15 piece or whatever. And these are older men. You know what I'm saying? These are men that by the time they get out, it's not gonna, I mean, what you gonna do? Then we have Dame and Jay on the other end of the spectrum. And these guys had a nice conglomerate, and they're done at this point. And it made me just think about things on a lower, I ain't gonna say on a lower level, but just let me look at things on a smaller scale where, you know, how is it that we can't get along as a group? Just on a smaller scale. These guys on a major $1 billion scale. But when we look at the groups that we have, maybe in your community, I can say in my community, when we have something that's good, going on good, why do we mess it up? What comes in between? Is it the money? Is it the greed? Is it the power that and you wind up one part of the business or one person or whatever messes up the business, and the next thing you know, the business no longer exists or has the impact that it used to. And I'm looking at Bad Boy and Death Row, and I'm just thinking, and Rockefeller, like these were, you know, powerful entities. Death Row and Bad Boy was really the most powerful black labels since Motown. Yeah, you had LaFace Records, you had all that type of stuff, but nothing was running the charts like Death Row. Nothing was running the charts like Bad Boy back then in the 90s. Even into the early 2000s with Bad Boy. And then you had Rockefeller. Nobody was running the charts. Nobody was running up the numbers. Nobody was doing it like them as, you know, black companies, record companies. To the point where, you know, they didn't need the majors anymore. They were majors. And they inspired other companies like No Limit Records, which at this point, I could have put No Limit Records up here too. No Limit Records is another one that disbanded. Nobody's working together anymore per se. It seems like, you know, when it comes to black owned, type of situations, it seems like with black owned situations, it can't stay fluent for so long. You know, I mean, it seems like we get to a certain impasse, we get to a certain part, and we just can't work together no more. I really don't know what that's about. And I really just thought it was it left a bad taste in my mouth when I was just riding home just not too long ago and thought about, you know, like, wow, where are we right now? I just start thinking about these guys. What type of life would Tupac be living right now? What type of life would Big be living right now? If Suge and Puff would have got together, ultimately, what could they have done together? What kind of jobs could they have created? What type of new things and investments they could have made to make it better for the whole, our community, our people? If Dame and Jay kept it tight, kept it together, what could they have done? You know, and it's, when I think about it, it's such a sad case to me, because these brothers or these entities were, these entities were just so much better together than they were apart. And I just don't understand. I do understand how these things happen, but I don't see these things happen. I don't really see these things happen in other communities. You know what I'm saying? Other communities find a way to go ahead, and even if they have a disagreement, they find a way to be able to work together. They find a way to be able to still do business together, and they find a way to make it work, make it happen. And it just seems like with us, we just can't do it. Is it the outside forces that's forcing us to go ahead and fight against each other? Because let's think about it. If these brothers was all working together right now, and I'm not saying in living in fairy tale world, everybody's not going to work together, and I get that. I totally get that. But the power that these men would have had, if the unit, just their unit, I ain't talking about even Death Row mixing with Bad Boy and Bad Boy mixing with Rockefeller. Even if they just regular Bad Boy unit could have stayed together, or they Death Row unit could have stayed together, or the Rockefeller unit could have stayed together, how much powerful would they would have been today? So look, at the end of the day, we got a lot of things to look at as far as what we trying to build, even for ourselves. When you're trying to build or your family, or your family or your business or whatever the case may be, the relationships that you got, it's kind of hard to maintain when you let money get in between situations, or when you let something infiltrate from the outside and break up the camaraderie. And it seems like a lot probably came in and destroyed this. But I think a lot of it had to do with also with greed. I think a lot had to do with greed, and I think it also comes from we coming from a situation of us as a people. We coming from a situation where we don't have a lot in the first place. So when we have something, we begin to be like, gimme, 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 and we hold everything, and we want to be the head honcho. You know what I mean? Or we want to be in control. Who doesn't like to be in control? So in being in control, sometimes I think I know what happens is you alienate a person that's probably not as big as you, or the person that helped you get to that perch of being who you are. And what happens is then that divisiveness come in. You know what I mean? It comes in and it creeps in, and then it breaks up the unit. That's why I think it's with each one of these situations. I think if fairness was really applied liberally, I think these situations would have just continued to thrive. Maybe Big would have went off and did his own thing, which would have been cool, which would have been a good thing. And there's nothing wrong with going off and doing your own thing. But I think what would have happened is they would have been able to continue as bosses to work together. Because when you deal with people in fairness and sincerity, you can still work together. And I think in the situation, Puff got too greedy. Puff jerked a lot of people, and we know it now. We know he was trying to jerk Big out of his publishing. Puff wasn't paying people. He wasn't paying Mace, Loon, the Locks. We know a lot of people had situations with how Death Row was ran, as far as the violence, and even things with them being paid, or how that situation went. Where Rockefeller, Jay wanted to be the boss and wanted to get himself away from Dame in the way that he was doing. So it's like, that's why it's so skeptical and hard sometimes to partner with people. But a lot of times you got to understand you can't do it alone. A lot of times you need somebody to help you get to that level. But the thing is, when you get to the level, how do you react when you get there? How do you act when you get there? Do you say, oh, I did it all by myself, and you don't want to be fair? So that's what I'm saying, man. At the end of the day, it's just a weird combination, man. I thought about this, and it bothered me because this is my childhood. You know what I'm saying? I grew up, and I still listen to Death Row. That's all the music I really listen to. Death Row, Bad Boy, Rock. I listen to Nas. You know what I mean? I try to listen to the new boys and stuff like that. But I'm looking at this as a cautionary tale, how it all fell down. Each one of these situations, and it could be, you got to apply that to your business. Look at your business. Anybody out there who has a business or a situation, and if you had a situation or you built something and you had people that helped you build it, and now it's not thriving as it like it used to, you got to kind of look at yourself as the head. Why it's not doing that anymore? Why it's not thriving? So they say we got the Bad Boy situation, of course, with Puff. Some people say that, hey, Jay is next. Some people say Jay is next. Going to the parties. I don't want to put that on Jay. I would hate to see Jay-Z being pulled into this or being implemented in this, but a lot of people are saying Jay may be next. How sad would that be? You know what I mean? Like, how sad would that be? Bro, I don't know. So it just bothered me a lot when I saw this, and I really just started to think about it. It really bothered me. So I'm gonna open up the phone line. You know what I mean? If anybody got anything to say, or anybody got something that they want to add, even if somebody want to come on, they can come in. I I also want to say WYAC, you know, I like to thank everybody that's, you know, popping in and watching, people that come on Tuesday nights. We're going to probably flip over to Monday night because of client situations that I got coming up that I got to take care of those. But we going to have some politicians coming up in the next couple of rounds. We got a lady that's running for probate. We got a lady running for probate judge, Oakland County probate judge. She wants to come on in, so she confirmed, you know what I mean? Let's see if she stick to her word. You're a lawyer, you want to run for judge, stick to your word. Let's see if you come on, answer some of the hard questions, or just let the people know what your grounds of running for is, you know what I mean? So be tuning into that this Monday coming. And 7:30, come on in. So we're gonna be hosting a lot of people, you know what I mean? I'm looking to try to get any and every candidate that want to come on in, but not even just the candidates, people just in general that's doing anything interesting, you know what I mean? I want to give a shout out, like I say, to people that join, people that come on in with us, that come on the screen with us, you know what I mean, just to have a good time. And that's really what WYAC is all about, you know, just to get on here, have a good time on a Monday or Tuesday, but promote some goodness, you know, have fun. Number one, if I ain't having fun, I don't want to do it. I already got enough stuff in our life, like we all do, that's responsibility orientated, and this has a responsibility to it too. But we all have things that's responsibility orientated, and this is why I created this, just to be able to have fun, let your hair down, be loose, but also get some information. But I do want to give a disclaimer. Anybody that come on and say whatever they say, those are their words, you know what I'm saying? So I just give everybody a fair chance and a fair air. They come on here, they speak their truth for how they know it, and we keep on rocking and rolling to the next episode. But we talk about everything. Sometime we hit on I'm gonna do a Super Tuesday show when the election night, Super Tuesday. I'm gonna do the Super Tuesday, and hopefully, you know, your candidate win, whoever that may be, you know what I mean? But we tackle issues like politics, you know, and a lot of people don't even want to tackle that in our community. And I don't like that, you know what I mean? I like, well, you know what? Y'all can do what y'all want to do. I like to tackle issues like politics and religion. And I'm okay with not agreeing with anybody. I respect everybody's opinion on how they think about candidates or how they think about their politics. I respect everybody that has their different view on religion and those difficult topics, because we're all adults, and at the end of the day, we shouldn't all agree. You know what I mean? Us as a people are not, just think alike. You know what I mean? Monolithic, as they say. We don't all think about alike and do the same things. We all have, and I'm a strong-minded individual that thinks or has a mind of his own. So I like to think the way I like to think. I like to do what I like to do, and I like to give people an opportunity to be who they are, and, you know, not going to beat them down or judge them for what they believe in. So that's really what up, Nas, over there in the corner? That's really what it's all about here on the Pontiac WYAC, and it's just really just to have fun at the end of the day and be a voice. But it looked like, you know, picking up a little steam, and we just having fun at the end of the day. That's all we trying to do, and give a voice to those that want to say something. But with that being said, yeah, y'all, I really just wanted to come on, and if y'all got anything out of this short and brief message that I'm just trying to relay is, think about, you know, how, you know, in your situation, if it's a relationship, a business relationship, a regular man and woman relationship, things that you're trying to do, you know, really think about who you pair up with when you're doing something, and when it grows, you know, responsibility and investment and investing in the time of what it costs to build something, and who you built it with, and how do you keep it going up, and once it gets to a certain point, how do you sustain it, or how do you sustain that relationship? You know, it seems like other companies and other people are able to do that, but it's so hard for us to do that. It's real hard for us to do that for some reason. And I like you all to think about that. It's a really sad situation when I really think about what happened to these three organizations. These three organizations played, they like this, these three organizations are like a soundtrack to my life, quite honestly. And I look back and see what happened, it made me be like, damn, Suge in jail, Puff in jail, Big dead, Pac dead, Jay and Dame don't talk no more. Nobody from Rockefeller deal with each other no more. Death Row, yeah, Snoop got Death Row in this, but it's not what it was, and I don't expect everything to be what it was. Bad Boy, nobody speaks or talk to anybody. And I think about other companies, it don't really happen like that. It's us. And these guys really, these three companies alone, really could have ran the record industry even up to this day. Even to this day. Even if you go back to Motown records, Motown didn't even need a major. Death Row didn't even need a major. Death Row helped save a major record label. Rockefeller helped save Def Jam, which was started, the first artist was LL Cool J. It's like we built these companies, and or Bad Boy helped, save the company, that the parent company that they were with, as far as the sales. Our culture and our music sells and sustain livelihoods for other companies. They really do. But in some way they make us feel like it don't. And, at the end of the day, they end up owning it all. And then you try to have to buy it back from them. Like, for instance, Death Row was owned by Tyco. I know y'all didn't even recognize that. Death Row was owned by Tyco, the toy company, Tyco. Snoop Dogg bought it back, but Snoop only bought the name. Snoop don't own none of Death Row's old music. None of it. So the old music is still owned by Tyco. So yeah, Snoop owns and the name Death Row Records, and he can do stuff under the label, the imprint, but he has to make all new music. He has no rights to any of the old music that Death Row has. So who owns that music? You see what I'm saying? So you just basically owning a shell. There's nothing that you own. You own the name. If you don't have the assets behind it, come on, man, that was the golden era. You cannot rebuild. That's like me owning Motown, but I don't own none of the Jacksons' music. I own none of Smokey Robinson's, none of the Temptations, nothing. I just own the name Motown. What good is it without that, That's like, so it's, when you really think about it, if these entities could have stayed together, how much powerful they would have been today. If these youngsters, at that time, that was ahead of their time. What's up, Kyrie? If these youngsters that were ahead of their time could have lived, and it's more coming out. Like, I called it at the beginning of the year. Man, that I was talking to my sister. I was like, man, Puff going to jail. And I believe that he gonna get connected to the Pac murder. I really do. He had something to do with it. There's evidence thereof of a check for $1 million that was given, that was supposed to be given to Keefe D, which is on trial in Las Vegas. You might know about that, Kyrie, because you in Los Angeles. With the Keefe D situation and him. So I believe Puff has something to do with the Pac murder. Here's another little strain of you say Kim Porter more than Pac? But there's some evidence, man. I think they're gonna link them, bro. Dog, the stuff that's, ain't it crazy? Like, all this stuff is coming out 20, 30 years later, bro. Now check this out. Check this bit of news and information I heard out. I love Jay now. Don't get me wrong. I love Jay as a lyricist. He ain't my favorite. Nas is my guy. But I'm gonna tell you what I think, or not what I think. This is real spiel, real talk. I'm gonna put the number up actually, man, so you can probably call if you like. All right. This is not what I hear say. This is real deal talk. This is coming out the horse's mouth. Suge Knight. One of the big reasons why they wanted Suge Knight out of the picture, bro. Suge Knight, Irv Gotti, and Dame Dash. What's my man from Rap A Lot Records? Lil J. J Prince. They all were getting together. I think 4 CEOs who I just mentioned. Dame Dash. Suge Knight. J Prince. Irv Gotti of Murder Inc. J Prince of Rap A Lot. They were all getting together to create a distribution label. So they didn't no longer have to go through these majors to distribute their records anymore. They was coming together, pooling their money to create a distribution where no limit, any and everybody could, whoever these companies coming out now, Maybach Music, whoever was coming out, could use their own people as distributors. Guess who they said told on them? They said Jay told on them, bro. Jay-Z told on it and blew the whole thing up. Right when that happened, that's when Irv Gotti and Murder Inc., they whole conglomerate, remember he got those Fed charges? That's when Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. got their Fed charges. That's around the time right after that, Suge started having more legal problems. Right after that, J Prince started having more legal problems. After that, Dame Dash started having more legal problems and being, quote unquote, what they call broke. They crushed everybody that had something to do with that idea of having their own distribution label or deal, their own company. So it's like 50 said something real, 50, dog, and Jay elevated. And Jay elevated after that. Jay became stupid rich after that. I don't believe that's a coincidence, and I believe that to be the truth. I believe that was the truth. And it's always one of us that do that. And these brothers were gonna get together and create a distribution deal with amongst themselves, a black-owned There's out of all the music that we produce, it's the same with movies. It's the same with movies. Martell, Taylor, it's a lot of people that do movies around here, and a lot of people, black people that do movies. There's not one black major movie house. Okay, you got Tyler Perry. But what if you're doing type of movie that Tyler Perry don't like? There's not multiple. There need to be different movie houses and productions. There got to be more than Miramax. There got to be more than Sony. There got to be more than Paramount. You got to go to them to get these deals. You got to go to NBC. Out of all the money that we produce, we have not one. Yeah, we can have all the little labels that we want. We can have the Maybach Musics. We can have the Maybach Music. We can have the Rockefeller, the Bad Boy, the Death Row. But we can't have the Capitol Records. You know what I'm saying? We can't have Interscope. You know what I mean? And that's because we have to go to them to get those major deals. And 50 said something real telling the other day, bro. He was on a podcast and I listened to him. He said, everything is cool until you really want to own something. That's when the problem occurs. When you really want to become the boss or you really want to own something, that's when you're going to have problem with most people or the establishment. When you want to become the owner, when you want to become the decision maker, that's when you're going to have problem with people. And your own people will dime you out. Your own people will rat you out. And from this situation and ratting you out for I don't know what, because they're not diming you out. You're not doing nothing illegal. You just want to do something that's progressive for your people, progressive for yourself, and progressive for the culture. Showing that, hey, we can do it, I can do it, you can do it too. And you know, I begat this and you can begot that. You know what I'm saying? But from that situation, Jay ratted that situation out, that Suge, Dame Dash, Jay Prince, and they were go ahead and, you know, they was trying to start their own label, not label, but far as their own distributor. And as far as records, that's what you need. Anybody can start a record label, but if you don't have anybody to invest and distribute that, it's no good. It's kind of like, you know, having a movie. Well, where are people going to see your movie at? It's like Tubi. You know what I'm saying? It's like Amazon Prime. Those are what you would call a distributor. You know what I mean? So I like to give a shout out to Dame Dash. Dame Dash is one of the people, you know, people might call him broke. People might call him, you know, he fell off or whatever the case. But Dame is the one that really inspired me to do what I was doing, to break out on my own. Invest, take the money that I was making from a 9 to 5. And it's been hard. It's been hard. It hasn't been easy. A lot of sleepless, stressful nights that made my face wrinkle. You know what I mean? And a lot of stuff. But if it wasn't for Dame Dash and the words that he was saying, as far as that made me, I'm like, you know what? I can do something that I like to do. And, you know, it's just messed up that they in a situation where they not getting along. You know, but you know what? That happens. But I always say the last should be first. That's my main thing. The last should always be first. So sometimes, you know, you have to be down for a while. Sometimes you have to look like the non-important person. You know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to be the quiet one. But your day will come if you keep on working. And I believe Dame Dash fortune is about to turn over. But at the end of the day, man, we need ownership. We need ownership. And we see these type of situations with Bad Boy, Death Row, and Rockefeller. You know, the integral part of our history, for real, about not just black music, but just ownership, entrepreneurship. You know, these guys was the ones that really first showed us how to do it and that we could do it. Like the music guys is the ones that showed us, hey, we can have something of our own. We really can they did it in the way that they did it, but they doing it in the way that they doing it with music. Well, maybe I could do it in my way of doing it in this sector or this realm. But, you know, looking at where Dre at. So at the end of the day, look, man, we got to look at these as cautionary tales. We got to look at these as learning lessons of where we are. But at the end of the day, all of these guys had ambition to be the best. Everybody on this screen. And I think some of these guys' ambition to be the best or be the one, in a way, cost them their life. Because as you want to be the best, as you strive to be the best, and as you becoming the best, and as you are the best, people want you dead. People want you dead, or people want you out the way, or people want you silenced. You know, so once you begin to make a change or raise the ranks or become, then you have a target on you. You know, as a black man, you do. In most cases, you know, other persuasions don't have the target on them as we do. But if you begin to raise the ranks, you become a target. You know, unfortunately, you know, but it goes with the territory, you know. So just continue if you got anything that you're working on. Always strive to own whatever it is that you do. You know, try to own something that you do. You don't have to be out here and be an entrepreneur like, you know, everybody. You can have 9 to 5, nothing wrong with that. But try to own something, man. Own something. If it's a piece of stock, if it's a piece of investing, maybe you can invest in other people's dream. But let me tell you about investing in people's dream. Us as black people now, we got to do paperwork. We got to do paperwork. So if you're going to invest the right way. Know what your return is. Know how much you're investing. Know what the risk of it is. Just don't blindly invest, but have ownership or piece of. You know what I mean? And that's all investing is. You know, you can get a piece of it all or a piece of nothing. You know what I mean? But if you invest, understand what investments is. But find out how to invest in something. There's a lot of things where people do. They do venture capitalist investing, where you can, invest, in somebody in your neighborhood that, is building a rake or some shit. Whatever they build, you can do that, but you can own a piece of that. But I just say, try to find something to own, a piece of something. If it ain't nothing of your own, you know what I'm saying? You can invest in somebody else, but do it the right way. Do it with the paperwork. But, at the end of the day, man, I just was looking at this situation, just looking how bad it looks from the outside, looking in. From all of us to learn something from, I just really wish, I wish Pac and Big was alive. I wish what happened didn't happen. We all do. But I really believe that, what is coming all to the light now. I think Puff did have something to do. I really do think Puff has something to do with this, really with the death of Pac. I really do. And I ain't gonna front, I think he has something to do with the death of Big too. But those are subjects that I don't really want to tackle. They got a lot of people out here tackling those situations and what happened. But take each one of these as a tale for yourself in your life, whatever it is that you're trying to do. The relationships that you build or the relationships that you have with people. It's important to really look at it. It's important to really just look at what happened with these three situations. All these guys on here are powerful guys. Some higher and lower than others, but they were all powerful once, or still powerful in death, but powerful men. In each of these situations, none of them really get along at all, if alive at all. You know what I'm saying? Reputations are ruined. You know what I mean? Come to find out, Puff is the real Suge. You know what I'm saying? We thought Suge was the bad guy the whole time. I don't really think he was at the end of the day. So, hey man, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. I just wanted to come on and talk about this. It was a sad situation when I thought about it, because one of P. Diddy's songs came on the radio, and I'm like, dang, Puff and J. You know what I mean? It just hit me. Like, there ain't nothing that I really wanted to see. I ain't want to see none of this end like this. I mean, I couldn't imagine this 30 years ago, 1996. I couldn't imagine nothing like this. How this all panned out for each one of these groups. I didn't see it. You know what I mean? Who would have saw this? But here we are. You know what I mean? So with that being said, y'all, I'm about to get out of here. Eat, lay down, chill out. Early morning meeting coming up. I want to give a shout out again to the Pod, which is the company, Effigy Media Arts, which is the father or the parent company of the Pod, which is a podcast studio content creating studio space, small space in Bloomfield, where I service, not only just the Pontiac area, Bloomfield. Man, I had a guy come from Grand Rapids the other day. So dude found me on Google. I said, so the last couple of months, your boy been busy, been real busy the last couple of months. I'd just like to give a shout out to all the clients that have patronized me to use me. I'd like to give a big shout out. I'm gonna have a show. I might come on, not tomorrow morning, but one of these days, where I really just want to talk about a lot of the companies and the people that helped me around in the Pontiac area. I just want to give a shout out to PCIP, I'm sorry, Pontiac Community Impact Partnership, Samino Scott, Anisha Hanna, always looking out for me. I like to say what's up to PCF, Pontiac Community Foundation, Dustin, Pontiac Promise Zone, for looking out for me. The City of Pontiac, when they need something extra, need some extra hands, shout out to Phil. They need some extra hands, they always give a call out. I'm always ready and willing. My expertise is in live streaming and live production. So that's what I do, live production for the city when they call. So big mad shout out to them. I really love working with the City of Pontiac in the capacity that I do. And whenever they call on me, I try to be pronto and ready. And as in the other organizations, as far as the nonprofits or whatnot. So I like to give a shout out to them. I like to give a shout out to Bobby Benton, who really has held down a whole lot as far as when the pod first started. She was my first and loyal client, so she coming in. Reggie Wins, that's doing a weekly podcast now. He's doing the Rising Stars podcast. Give a shout out to young man Braxton coming in from Novi. He's coming all the way from Novi, and he brings in guests, either virtual or they bring someone there in person. Like I said, I got Ida Logan and Lauren Nicole come in, and they do their podcast on Fridays. So I like to say shout out to Lauren Nicole and Ida Logan. Also got a meeting tomorrow about another client coming in, wanna see if they can fill a slot also. So it's like, I'm just so happy that I didn't listen to, man. I had some discouragement when I was looking to do this. You know what I mean? You can't be listening to people when you try to do your thing. You can't. If the story was given to you to go ahead and write, then you got to go ahead and write the story. Because if you listen to the people, man, to the wrong people, to negative people, they'll talk you out of something great. And I'm so glad that I started the podcast studio. I'm so glad. It took me a good 6, 7, 8 months to really understand how and what I was doing. I knew the technical part and the technology part. That was the easy part. But understanding how to price and how to manage things, it took me a moment, because I never had a place to go to, an office space, a small, So, I had to learn. It took me like a good 7, 8 to a year to really understand it. And once I fully understood, I was like, the light bulb came up and said, I got it. I understood it. And right when I understood it, that's when, that was my sister. I told you to do it. Right, you sure did. And, it took me a year, and then it just hit me. Boom. It was like a light bulb. I was like, oh, I got it. And as soon as I felt like I understood what I was doing, that's when God felt like he started bringing people, because I don't think God want to bring clients to me and I didn't know what I was doing, how to handle them. So now I know how to handle them and how to space it and do things. So I'm glad that I just listened to the positive reinforcement. But it was some people, like I said, that were like, what you doing? Ain't nobody gonna do that. But you just can't listen to people. You got to do what you feel like you got to do. So that's what I did. And so tomorrow, meeting with a new client tomorrow morning. See if we can solidify a deal. Whatever we can. But I'm always going to give the person the best deal that I can give them, a fair one. And see if we can go ahead and solidify another slot at the pod. So on 43700 Woodward Avenue in Bloomfield, it's been good. Now, and I believe, I'm gonna say it here first, I believe that next year I'll be able to go ahead and expand into a greater space, and have different set designs and stuff like that. I see all that coming. But I think I've been faithful over a few things and over little things, and I think that time's going to come soon, hopefully, where I can go ahead and increase and have a bigger place. And, not only do I want to just have a bigger place, it's just I want to be able to, it ain't the size of having a bigger place. It's just I also want a place where I can possibly give somebody an opportunity. Hopefully I can give somebody an opportunity of a job or something. That'd be nice. That'd be nice. So I think that'll become. But y'all, I'm going to get on out of here. Like I said, I just wanted to talk about this for a quick second. Thank you all for joining Pontiac WYAC. We're going to continue to come and drop heat on Monday nights for the next couple of weeks coming up. Be looking out for that fire show that's going to be coming up. We're going to be doing Super Tuesday, election night. Hope your candidate win. We're going to continue to talk about those hard topics and have fun. We're going to disagree, y'all. I'm going to let you know. You even might hear some argument. You might even see somebody get off, like they can't stand it no more, and get off the live stream. But at the end of the day, we cool. We just we just all passionate about what we believe in. But this is a good place just to be able to kick it maturely and do our thing. So with that being said, y'all, keep God first. Like I always say, family second and you third. And in that order, you should never be made last, because the last is always made first. And this is the season for the people that were in last place. All right? One love. Peace.